Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Now, let's get right to the show I have for you guys today. Guys, welcome to Recap Monday, Season 4, Episode number 35. You know what that means, guys. It's Episode 35, which means next episode on Wednesday would be the start of Season 5. It would be Season 5, Episode number 1 for you all. Appreciate all the support here on the Fire Sports Pod. Again, I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Now, let's get right to the show. What a day we had in the NFL yesterday at Sunday. We continue it with Monday Night Football tonight on 8:15. We have the Jets taking on the 49ers in Santa Clara. We will see if Aaron Rodgers lasts more than 4 snaps this year. I'm betting he does. I think he's going to have a great game, and I think the Jets win. But before we get to that, we got to recap what happened yesterday because, man, what the hell happened to the quarterbacks? I mean, we had certain quarterbacks go for over 200, but there was no pizzazz. There was no 300 yards, 400-yard games, 4 touchdowns. There was no – it didn't feel like a pizzazz. Maybe 1 or 2 quarterbacks did a couple of those things, but there was no like first year last year. There was like so many guys after that. I think it was just a slow week for a lot of wide receivers other than Tyreek Hill. And some quarterbacks and running backs. I think it was just So let's go over what happened. I'm going to share my screen, guys, and we're going to go over what happened last night in the sports world when it came to the NFL, because we had some great games and we had some really weird ass upsets. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start Thursday Night Football. The first game of the NFL season was fantastic. You had Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes going at it, blow after blow after blow. They were going toe-to-toe. It was a great game. Chiefs won by a nail-biter. It was Isaiah Likely's toe that was the difference between this game being tied, or the Ravens were going to go for 2 if they got that touchdown, but the Chiefs win 27-20. Then you had Friday. First time we've had a game this early on Friday night. It was in Brazil, though, Eagles versus Packers. There was a little bit of a scrutiny with the field. The field looked very bad, very slippery. It was not the best field to be playing on, as well as such. There was a problem before with the fans and the gangs and whatever because of the color green. It was against whatever policy, but they were able to wear green. Eagles pulled out a close one. Jalen Hurts did not play good enough to win that game. I think he gave every opportunity for the Packers to win that, and the Packers just couldn't get the job done. But I have to give him his props. He went right down the field at the game-winning, game-sealing drive with the kick the field goal to basically put them up by 5, which makes Jordan Love and the Packers get a touchdown, which Jordan Love got hurt late in that game. He has a strained MCL, and he'll be out for a couple weeks. So that is not good for the Packers. But the Eagles win 34-29. Other than Dallas, they were the only one that won in the NFC East. Then we move to the Saints and the Panthers. Now, I obviously knew that the Panthers are not that well-oiled machine to win a lot of games this year. I didn't pick them to win. I think I picked them to win 4. But I did not think that they were going to lose that bad to a division rival, 47-10. You made Derek Carr look like prime Tom Brady over here. Saints won 47-10. Bryce Young tried his best but couldn't get the job done at all. So Saints won. That was a shit bad game. But the first 2 games of the season were fantastic. High-scoring games, back and forth. You had some defensive turnovers. You had awesome offensive big plays. It was great. Then you moved to the first game, which was the Panthers and the Saints. That was just bad. And then we have the Vikings versus Giants. That was another shit bad game. I mean, the Vikings are not all world. They don't have J.J. McCarthy, but Sam Darnold looked promising yesterday. Again, it's against the Giants, but the Giants' defense is no knock. They have a pretty good defense. Their offense is just atrocious, which makes their defense worse. But Vikings won 28-6, controlled almost the entire game. Daniel Jones just could not do anything offensively. He was just trash. But Justin Jefferson did his thing. Sam Darnold looked really nice. I like what the Vikings did. Yes, Sam Darnold, I wasn't so high on him. Again, it's only game 1, and you did versus the Giants, but doesn't look that bad. Now we move to the Patriots and Bengals. This was the surprise of all the games. This was definitely the surprise of all the games. You had the Patriots, Bengals go back and forth. This was a field goal, 1 touchdown game. This was just bad. The Bengals gave up 125 yards to Ramon Stevenson on the ground. It was just not the day. Joe Burrow did not throw a pick, but he had no touchdowns, had over 200, a little over less than 200 yards or a little bit over 200 yards, I forget. But the Patriots, they did what they had to do to get the win. They beat a top 10 team, a top 5 team in the league in the Bengals in Cincinnati. And they're not supposed to do anything this year. Jacoby Brissett is their starting quarterback. And name me one top-tier wide receiver they have. The Patriots don't have them. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You have a lot of guys on that side of the field. So I think it's going to be ridiculous. But Patriots get the win. They won 16-10. They got the job done. That's all that matters. That was one of the big shockers. Right now, guys, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to go into the Steelers and Falcons and how I thought both Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields played. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are going into the Steelers versus Falcons. Now, this was a bit of a shock. Justin Fields gets named the starter 30 minutes before kickoff. Russell Wilson was out with a calf injury. He comes in and does what he's got to do. I mean, Justin Fields, this is what I've been trying to tell people about Justin Fields. I loved Justin Fields. I think he would have been all world with the Chicago Bears and all those weapons. But he has good weapons. He has a running game. He has a good defense. So I think the Steelers will be wonderful, will translate really well this year if they keep Justin Fields. Obviously, they're going to play Russell Wilson, but I think Justin Fields is their answer. Now, the Falcons, Kirk Cousins. That was an abysmal performance. That was not the performance they wanted. The Falcons just really are bad. Kirk Cousins really, just the Falcons, they're not bad. They just had a bad game. Kirk Cousins had, TJ Watt was all over him. He had at least 3 fumbles, 1 recovered by the defense, 2 or 3 picks. He was just not on his game. They scored only 10 points at home. They lost to the Steelers 18-10. But I think they have a good enough team to rebound from this the next week and the next week to get on the flow. It's a new offense, new quarterback. Everything's got to keep going. Again, Kirk Cousins just came off a big Achilles injury, so that might have something to do with that. So, now, we do move to the Texans and Colts. What a game. What a game, ladies and gentlemen, in Indianapolis. You had the Texans take down the Colts 29-27. C.J. Stroud played really good. Anthony Richardson played out of his mind. He did what he had to do. He had some deep balls that were really nice. Stephon Diggs, 2 touchdowns in his debut with the Houston Texans. Who would have thought that? And yeah, I think it was just great games. Both these teams are going to be in the running in the AFC. This is going to be 2 powerhouse teams in the AFC, mark my words, especially Houston, but Colts are coming. They are coming. Now, the Bills, Cardinals, I was picking the Cardinals to win this game. I thought they had it. They were up 17-3. They had this game. They just let it slip away. Josh Allen became Superman. He just went off. He was just rushing everything, bulldozing over people, running people over. He was just in rare MVP form. Bills won 34-28 at home, but they gave up 28 points to the Cardinals. So that is something for a recipe of disaster later down the line. They've lost all their defense, so I'm not surprised. There's a big difference there. But I think the Bills will be fine. I think the Cardinals will be good this year. I think they're going to be good enough to compete in a lot of these games, just not good enough to win a lot of these games. Bears, Titans, Bears, better team. They just were not in it. They slacked off early. They were down 17-0 at one point, came all the way back, and the Bears won. Defensive a block, punt, kickoff return. They had a lot of stuff go their way. But, hey, sometimes got to fall that way to get the win. They got the win, even though total offense was under 150 yards, first time in like 2 decades that's been like that. So the Bears get the win in a very dramatic fashion. But again, it's a win, not a loss. That's what counts. Dolphins, Jaguars. Jaguars just put it on him early. Trevor Lawrence put them on it. It was down. They were down 17-3. Dolphins came all the way back and won this game in the closing seconds with a field goal. Tyreek Hill was detained earlier in the morning yesterday and went out there, ran all over the field, 7 receptions over 150 yards and 1 touchdown. This man can do it all. This is why he's called the Cheetah. But man, it was crazy. He was detained earlier for something with the police in his McLaren and then literally torched the entire defense. A crazy celebration of him being handcuffed by Jalen Waddle and walking all over the place. That was pretty cool. But yeah, the Dolphins won. it really was just a wake up. They just needed to wake up. They were just playing god awful. But the Jaguars sold badly. Only scored 17 points. They were up 17-3. You got to win that game if you're up against this type of team in their house. Definitely got to win that game. Seahawks Broncos. Seahawks get the win 26-20. This was a little bit of a scare. Broncos had the lead late. Seahawks closed it out. They won the game at home. Bo Nix started out really pretty good and then ended really bad. 2 interceptions. But have some good promising moments in that game with the Broncos. So I think they got the quarterback of the future in Bo Nix. Seahawks, Geno Smith, they did what they had to do, got the win. And that's all that matters, 26-20. Chargers was a very ugly game. The Raiders have a great defense. They just offense is god-awful. And you gave up only 22 points to the Chargers is not bad, especially their high-powered offense with Justin Herbert. And now Jim Harbaugh is the head coach. But it's just not going to get the job done. I mean, the Chargers only scored 22 against a pretty bad team. They got to run up some things. They got to get some things going. But for the first game, it wasn't that bad. I really didn't care for that game that much. The games that I did think that were amazing were the last three, I should say, that took place yesterday. We had the Cowboys. The Cowboys took down the Browns. As you guys can see, I'm wearing Micah Parsons. I'm not wearing a Dak Prescott or CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott got paid big yesterday before the game. CeeDee Lamb got paid a week and a half before that. But I'm not going crazy because the offense did what they were supposed to do. They just did what they were supposed to do. The defense played amazing. Had 2 turnovers, had 6 sacks, pressured the shit out of Deshaun Watson. He didn't know what the hell was happening. Micah Parsons was wrecking through everybody. And then just opened up all the holes for everybody else to kill. So the Cowboys won 33-17 in a dominant fashion against one of a pretty good team that went to the playoffs last year. Obviously, Deshaun Watson needs to get into the flow of things again. They were missing 2 offensive linemen and a couple other guys. So it wasn't a full healthy team, but injuries are part of football. Injuries are part of sports. You just got to go through them. They did. They got killed. Now, the Buccaneers took on the Commanders. Buccaneers absolutely demolished the Commanders as of what I thought, especially playing Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, a very veteran group in Tampa. I didn't think Jaden Daniels was going to come out and win a game, but I did think Jaden Daniels was going to play some good football, and that's what he did. He had really good numbers passing the ball and running the ball, and he didn't turn the ball over. And that's what matters. So they lost 37-20, but it looked really good. Commanders going to be a problem in the next couple of years or so, especially if they keep up with Jaden Daniels and he stays healthy. They are going to be a problem. But Buccaneers win. Mike Evans goes back into rare form, 2 tutties, 61 yards on 5 receptions, and Baker Mayfield has a field day with the Commanders defense. Now we move to the Sunday night football. It is back. Lions versus Rams. What a game. This went into overtime, the first overtime game of the season. Lions took on the Rams in Detroit. Lions win 26-20. What a game. Matthew Stafford did all he could with a bum ankle and all this. He got the win, and he stayed strong in Detroit. But Jared Goff did what he had to do to get the win. Rams just lost it. They had the opportunity to get the wins, but they just couldn't get the job done. Obviously, with that being said, Rams have Matthew Stafford, a veteran quarterback. Lions have Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff can and will be that guy this year for the Lions and get them farther into the playoffs than last year. I think they go back to the NFC Championship game, but I don't know if they win, depending on their matchup. If they play a formidable opponent, they could get the job done. If they don't, then we're going to have the same thing as last year. Even though last year I think they should have beat the 49ers, but we all know what happened there. 49ers got some lucky bounces with the football, and they just couldn't get anything consistently going for the line. The Lions couldn't. So, but a game on Sunday night was great. It went into overtime. I just wish the Rams would have played a little bit more of a defense. Lions kind of just walked down the field very easily and just really put the game away. Obviously, we all know the rules in regular season. First person to score wins. In overtime, only the playoffs that changes. So that's that. Lions win. That's pretty much that, guys. That is all I have for you guys when it comes to the recap of what happened last night in the sports world in the NFL. Now, again, like I said earlier in my podcast, we had the Jets and 49ers at 8:15 today happening on ABC. This is going to be a hell of a game in Santa Clara. I got the Jets winning this game. and getting the job done. I think they cover the -3.5 spread and win this game. I think Aaron Rodgers has a field day and goes nuts. I need 34 points from Brees Hall tonight for fantasy, and I need Greg the Leg. I probably need 40 from Brees Hall in order for me to win, because let's substitute 6 points from Greg the Leg. So let's hope that Greg the Leg misses some field goals and extra points, but the Jets score a lot of touchdowns. I need that. I need that badly. But other than that, guys, we're going to move to our second and final segment on today's show, and we're just going to talk what a monster contract that was given to Dak Prescott, the Cowboys quarterback. Again, guys, you know I support Dak and everything, but man, $240 million, that is crazy. The highest paid player in NFL history right now. I think that's a little bit much for Dak Prescott. Just knowing his playoff success. Again, not saying he don't deserve it. I think he does. I think he's put in the hours. He's put in the time. But, damn, that's a lot. At 31 years old, he enters his 9th NFL season in 2024 to a 4-year extension worth $240 million, with $231 million guaranteed. According to CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones, he is now the NFL's highest paid player in terms of his contract average per year, which is a value of $60 million. That's ridiculous, surpassing the previous of $55 million APY, besides Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow on a 5-year, $275 million deal. Both Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, 5 years, $275, and Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love, 4 years, $220, tied the $55 million APY mark with their new deals this offseason. With the record-setting deal, Dak Prescott gets $39 million more than any QB right now, which is pretty absurd. But to be honest, like I said, guys, I think he deserves it. He just got to get some playoff success. If he gets his playoff success, everyone will be stopped talking about this guy. I think if he just gets some playoff success, everybody will just shut the fuck up and understand that this guy is actually a good quarterback. Just because he has no playoff success doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. He just can't produce in the big games. Again, that's a big reason why you say he's not a good quarterback. I'm just saying, if he has some playoff success this year, I think the narrative on him and the banter and the attacking on him goes away. That's just my opinion. But we have some news we got to get to on the injury side. Jake Ferguson, the Cowboys tight end, has suffered a sprained MCL and a bone bruise in Sunday's win over the Browns. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported per source, Ferguson is considered to be week to week per Rappaport. So that sucks for me because he's my tight end for my fantasy. Luckily, I picked up a second guy in Dalton Schultz, fellow Cowboy guy. So that was that. And then on top of that, in last night's Sunday night win, the Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua exits Sunday's night in going to lead the extended absence. Nacua suffered a PCL sprain and is being placed on the injury reserve. Head coach Sean McVay said Monday the Rams wide receiver will miss at least the next 4 games. Even with they lost the game, Cooper Kupp had played amazing, but they lose one of their best wide receivers, if not their best wide receiver, for 4 games, which just kind of sucks. Because for any fantasy owners that need Puka Nacua, you guys are kind of fucked for the next 4 games. But other than that, Puka Nacua is really the only guy left. Now, we know some different things that have happened with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen does what he's supposed to do. There's a lot of things that people say Josh Allen this, Josh Allen that. I think he's a great quarterback. Do I think the Bills are going to have a great year this year? No, because they have nobody. It's just him. Now, him can give you 9 wins, but it's not a recipe for success in the NFL and for playoff success. That's just my opinion and my opinion alone. But if you guys didn't hear, to kind of wrap up the segment, for the Super Bowl this year, the halftime show will be performed by Kendrick Lamar. He will be performing in New Orleans for the Super Bowl on February 2025. So that will be pretty much that, guys. So Kendrick Lamar is being there, and that's it. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for my show here on the Forest Sports Pod. Again, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday afternoon, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for Season 5, Episode number 1. Other than that, guys, have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys then. Peace out, guys.